Top 10 gemstones that outsell diamonds. For over a century, diamonds have been promoted as the pinnacle of value, status, and permanence. But beneath that polished image lies a quieter truth. Across the world, some gemstones outsell diamonds, not in price per piece, but in volume, cultural demand, and real-world consumption. Some are centuries older than the modern diamond industry. Others are sold by the ton, woven into traditions, fashion, and belief systems that span entire civilizations. One is cultivated inside a living organism, another is manufactured by the millions yet worn every single day, and at least one has shattered a diamond's per carat record at global auctions. This is not a list of what sparkles brightest nor what costs the most in a showroom. This is a ranking of the stones that move markets, reshape trends, and quietly outperform diamonds year after year. These are the top 10 gemstones that outsell diamonds. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Tourmaline, including Paraíba. Tourmaline belongs to a complex group of boron-silicate minerals with a diverse chemical structure, allowing for an extensive color range. Depending on trace elements like iron, manganese, lithium, and copper, tourmaline naturally forms in colors spanning from deep black to vivid green, ruby red, and even electric blue. The latter exclusive to a rare subtype known as Paraíba tourmaline. First discovered in 1989 in the Brazilian state of Paraíba, this variant owes its intense neon coloration to unusually high concentrations of copper. The geological conditions of the original deposit, specifically pegmatitic formations rich in oxidized copper, have yet to be replicated with the same results elsewhere. While similar-looking stones have since been found in Nigeria and Mozambique, the term Paraíba remains legally and commercially restricted to stones that either originate from Brazil or meet strict gemological criteria for color and copper content. Tourmaline's global popularity is reflected in its presence across multiple tiers of the gemstone market. In its more common forms, particularly green, pink, and black varieties, it is widely sold in mass-market jewelry across the United States, Germany, Thailand, and China. These types are available at accessible price points, often under $100 per carat, making them a staple in fashion and entry-level gemstone jewelry. As a result, tourmaline frequently exceeds diamonds in units sold, particularly in retail channels that prioritize variety and affordability over prestige. Paraíba tourmaline, however, sits at the opposite end of the spectrum. With prices exceeding $100,000 per carat for top-grade stones, it ranks among the most expensive gemstones ever recorded. Despite its extreme rarity, its global demand among collectors and high-net-worth buyers significantly elevates tourmaline's presence in the luxury market. Top-quality Paraíba stones have appeared in high-profile auctions and are now considered investment-grade assets. In the gem industry, tourmaline is often grouped under colored gemstones and may not always appear as a standalone category in trade reports. Nonetheless, according to the International Colored Gemstone Association, ICA, and export data from major cutting centers, tourmaline accounts for a substantial portion of global gemstone transactions by volume. Its ability to serve multiple market segments, from inexpensive beads to elite auction pieces, reinforces its status as one of the world's most commercially dynamic gemstones. While it does not surpass diamonds in total market value, tourmaline's reach across volume-based retail and its ability to occupy both mass and elite segments of the gemstone trade justify its inclusion in any list of stones that outsell diamonds, at least in the ways that most buyers experience gemstones, frequently, affordably, and in full color. Ranked 9th, Sapphire, including Padparadscha and pink sapphire. Sapphire is classified as a variety of the mineral corundum, composed primarily of aluminum oxide with trace elements that produce its color. While commonly associated with royal blue, sapphire naturally occurs in a full spectrum of hues, except red, which is categorized separately as ruby. Among the most valuable non-blue variants are pink sapphire and the exceedingly rare Padparadscha, a delicate blend of pink and orange often described by gemologists in precise lab-based spectrums rather than romantic terms. Sapphires rank among the hardest gemstones, scoring 9 on the Mohs scale, just below diamonds. This physical resilience, combined with their availability in calibrated sizes and colors, makes sapphires an ideal choice for both high-end jewelry and mass-market production. In global trade, blue sapphires are renowned for their prestige, particularly those originating from Kashmir, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar. However, in terms of commercial momentum, the rapid rise of pink sapphire in bridal and fashion jewelry markets has pushed its sales far beyond historical expectations. Several major jewelry manufacturers, particularly in Asia and North America, have adopted pink sapphires as a primary alternative to diamonds in engagement rings. This shift is driven not only by aesthetics, but also by cost efficiency and a growing preference for colored stones among younger demographics. As a result, units of pink sapphire jewelry have outpaced those of diamonds in specific product lines, particularly in rings priced under $1,500. Padparadscha sapphires, on the other hand, operate in a different market stratum. With strict gemological definitions and rarity of formation, they command exceptionally high per carat prices, sometimes exceeding $90,000 for stones with documented Sri Lankan origin and minimal treatment. While volume remains limited, their visibility in high-end auctions and private collections contributes to sapphire's broader commercial footprint. According to the Gemological Institute of America, GIA, and export data from major sapphire-producing countries, sapphire, as a category, maintains one of the most balanced presences across retail, investment, and auction sectors. Although diamonds dominate the luxury tier in sheer revenue, sapphires consistently outperform them in unit sales across the colored gemstone category, particularly in mid-range and fashion segments. The strength of sapphire in the global market does not come from rarity alone, but from its ability to satisfy a wide range of consumers, from volume buyers in department stores to elite collectors bidding for unheated gems. This scalability places sapphire in a unique position, not more expensive than a diamond in total value, but often more frequently chosen in real-world jewelry purchases. Ranked 8th, emerald. Emerald is a chromium and vanadium-bearing variety of beryl, renowned for its vibrant green hues and its enduring significance in human ornamentation. Its use in jewelry and ritual predates modern gemology by millennia, with verified trade routes stretching from ancient Egypt to the Andes and archaeological recovery confirming its presence in burial goods, royal collections, and temple offerings. In the gemological context, emeralds are assessed based on hue precision, tonal depth, and saturation uniformity. Stones extracted from Colombia, notably from the Muzo, Chivor, and Turquoise mines, are prized for their vivid green coloration with minimal secondary modifiers. In contrast, Zambian emeralds, characterized by a higher iron content, lean toward a cooler, bluish-green hue, offering improved clarity and more consistent yields. Since the 1980s, Zambia's output has played a vital role in stabilizing the global emerald supply. The gemstone occupies a rare intersection of heritage, investment, and retail demand. While its annual carat volume does not approach that of mass-market diamonds, emerald routinely achieves higher per-carat values in high-end and auction settings. Multiple lots from Gemfields, a leading producer, have surpassed $30 million in single auction events. In several cases, these results have exceeded the returns from equivalent-sized rough diamond tenders held within the same fiscal quarter. What sets emerald apart in commercial behavior is its decentralized supply structure. With fewer centralized grading systems and looser international controls, the emerald market has allowed for localized commercial ecosystems to flourish. In India, emeralds hold cultural and astrological significance, driving sustained demand across various consumer demographics. The stone's popularity extends from entry-level silver-set jewelry to bespoke gold settings in traditional and bridal pieces. Emerald's visual characteristics include inclusions, visible even without magnification. These internal features are accepted and in some markets even appreciated as evidence of natural origin. Most emeralds are routinely treated with natural oils or resins to improve clarity, a process fully disclosed in legitimate trade and acknowledged in standard grading practices. Emerald's overall market value does not exceed that of diamonds on a global revenue scale. However, in select regional economies, collector markets, and carat-for-carat comparisons, it consistently performs at a competitive level. Its long-term resilience as both cultural artifact and investment asset secures its place in this ranking. Not as a volume leader, but as a gemstone whose historical weight and commercial relevance continue to rival far more standardized commodities. Ranked 7th, ruby. Ruby is the red variety of corundum, colored by trace amounts of chromium. On the Mohs hardness scale, it ranks 9, second only to diamond, but its commercial trajectory is defined more by its rarity in terms of color and clarity. The finest rubies are distinguished not only by a saturated, uniform red hue, but by a near-complete absence of fluorescence masking elements like iron, which are prevalent in many non-premium deposits. Historically, ruby has held symbolic and material significance across nearly every ancient trade civilization, from the Burmese kingdoms of the 15th century to Mughal India and Imperial China. While Thailand and Cambodia remain active suppliers, the most prized stones continue to originate from the Mogok region of Myanmar, where rubies with vivid saturation and minimal inclusions, known as pigeon's blood, command the highest valuations. Modern trade data places ruby in a highly selective tier of gemstone investment. The auction sale of the Estrela de Fura, a 55.2 2-carat unheated ruby discovered in Mozambique, set a new global benchmark in 2023, $34.8 million, or over $630,000 per carat, making it the most expensive ruby ever sold and among the highest per carat prices of any gemstone, including diamond. Multiple auction houses, including Sotheby's and Christie's, continue to report record-breaking figures for untreated rubies over 5 carats. Ruby's value is concentrated in its uppermost percentile. The vast majority of rubies entering global markets are treated, usually by heat or lead glass filling, to improve appearance and durability. However, untreated rubies with natural high-grade color and clarity are so scarce that they have become auction-grade assets, often outperforming even flawless diamonds on a per-carat basis. In geographic terms, ruby remains a core gemstone in South Asian, Middle Eastern, and Southeast Asian markets. India, in particular, sustains year-round demand for ruby jewelry across all income levels, from astrology-linked purchases to bridal and luxury segments, contributing to steady turnover in both volume and mid-range pricing. Meanwhile, top-tier rubies represent a distinct tier governed by private dealers, legacy collections, and international bidding. Ruby does not outsell diamonds in global unit sales or total dollar value. However, at the elite level, where market value is measured per carat, not per transaction, rubies have proven their capacity to exceed diamonds in both price and competitive demand. Its place in this ranking reflects a commercial pattern distinct from mass-market gemstones: low volume, extremely high margin, and enduring collector interest that places select rubies in a financial class of their own. Ranked 6th, blue topaz. Blue topaz is a silicate mineral from the aluminum fluorine hydroxide group. Naturally occurring topaz is most often found in colors ranging from colorless to yellow and brown. Blue varieties, especially vivid sky blue to London blue hues, are typically produced through a combination of irradiation and heat treatment applied to near-colorless topaz. This process is stable and widely accepted in the trade, accounting for nearly all blue topaz seen in the global jewelry market. The physical durability of topaz, scoring 8 on the Mohs scale, makes it suitable for daily wear. However, its perfect cleavage in one direction requires precise handling during cutting and setting to avoid breakage under pressure. Despite this, its consistent availability in large calibrated sizes has made it a cornerstone of affordable gemstone jewelry production since the 1980s. In terms of market volume, blue topaz is among the most widely sold colored gemstones globally. It is mined extensively in Brazil, Nigeria, and Sri Lanka, but Switzerland, Thailand, and India dominate the cutting and export markets. Jewelry retailers in the United States, China, and Europe frequently feature blue topaz in their mass-market product lines, particularly in earrings, pendants, and rings priced between $30 and $300. Its widespread appeal lies in its color stability, size, versatility, and low price per carat, often under $20 in wholesale. This allows manufacturers to produce jewelry with large center stones that appear high value to consumers while remaining economically viable for retailers. In terms of units sold, blue topaz far exceeds diamonds in budget and mid-tier jewelry, particularly in department stores, e-commerce platforms, and travel retail. Though it holds little relevance in auction markets or collector circles, blue topaz performs strongly in commercial channels due to the predictable supply chain, global distribution infrastructure, and consistent consumer demand for blue-tone gemstones. Many entry-level consumers, unaware of its treated origins, associate its appearance with more expensive stones like aquamarine or sapphire, further driving sales volume. Blue topaz does not compete with diamonds in terms of price or prestige. It does not command collector premiums, nor does it appear in high jewelry catalogs. However, its unit sales, supported by stable production, efficient enhancement processes, and near-universal availability, ensure that it consistently outsells diamonds in quantity, particularly in mass-market retail environments where accessibility outweighs the legacy value of diamonds. Ranked 5th, turquoise. Turquoise is a hydrous phosphate of copper and aluminum with a cryptocrystalline structure and an opaque luster that has been recognized and traded since antiquity. Its natural color ranges from sky blue to bluish green, shaped by the concentration of copper and iron present during formation. Typically occurring in arid, copper-rich regions, turquoise lacks transparency or brilliance, yet it holds enduring commercial and cultural value across continents. The material's global significance predates most modern gemstones. It was mined as early as 3000 BCE in the Sinai Peninsula, worn by pharaohs, traded across Central Asia, and embedded into the ceremonial jewelry of pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. Today, its most commercially active sources include Iran, the southwestern United States, and northwestern China, with each region producing distinct color and matrix patterns that affect market pricing and collector interest. Turquoise thrives in decentralized markets. It remains a cornerstone of indigenous North American craftsmanship, particularly among Navajo, Zuni, and Hopi artisans. In the U.S., turquoise jewelry is sold in massive volume through both artisan networks and large-scale manufacturers, especially in the American Southwest and in tourist-driven retail. In terms of affordability, turquoise sits at the lower end of the gemstone pricing spectrum. Treated and stabilized varieties, which account for the vast majority of commercially available turquoise, can be purchased wholesale at under $1 per gram. This low price point enables volume-based sales strategies, with bracelets, rings, and pendants produced in bulk and sold globally across craft markets, museum stores, and online platforms. Turquoise does not enter auction houses. It does not appear in investor portfolios. Yet by sheer quantity, particularly in low and mid-tier jewelry sold across North America, Iran, Turkey, and parts of Southeast Asia, turquoise significantly outsells diamonds in unit sales, according to trade reports and manufacturing export data. Turquoise jewelry moves in volumes unmatched by any precious stone outside of cubic zirconia or freshwater pearl. Market analysts rarely highlight turquoise due to its limited presence in the luxury sector. However, its role as a functional, culturally embedded, and mass-produced gemstone places it firmly within the group of stones whose commercial footprint, in quantity, reach, and cultural significance, exceeds that of diamonds in everyday consumer behavior. Ranked 4th, amethyst. Amethyst is the purple to violet variety of quartz composed of silicon dioxide with coloration derived from iron impurities and natural irradiation. It forms in geodes, cavities, and volcanic rock deposits worldwide, with some of the most commercially significant sources located in Brazil, Uruguay, Zambia, and Russia. Classified as macrocrystalline quartz, amethyst ranks 7th on the Mohs scale, offering moderate durability suitable for daily wear jewelry. Its availability in large sizes and high clarity, combined with low extraction costs and ease of cutting, has positioned amethyst as one of the most commonly sold gemstones across the global mass-market jewelry sector. Historically, amethyst was once considered a precious stone, equal in rank to ruby, sapphire, and emerald. This status shifted in the early 19th century after large-scale Brazilian deposits were discovered, increasing availability and reducing price. Today, amethyst is broadly used in both commercial fashion jewelry and metaphysical or wellness-related products, particularly in the United States, India, China, and Germany. Amethyst's value lies not in its rarity, but in its volume. Large commercial processors handle thousands of tons annually, supplying manufacturers that produce rings, necklaces, pendants, and beads sold in department stores, souvenir shops, crystal boutiques, and online marketplaces. At the wholesale level, rough amethyst can cost as little as $2 to $5 per kilogram. Finished stones, even in high clarity and saturation, typically retail for under $20 per carat. In terms of unit sales, amethyst regularly exceeds diamond in volume, particularly across price segments under $500. It is also commonly used in bulk gifting, for religious artifacts, and in therapeutic products, none of which typically involve diamonds due to cost and cultural limitations. Its appearance in both the ornamental and metaphysical markets expands its consumer reach well beyond traditional gemstone buyers. Amethyst plays no role in high-end auctions or the luxury watchmaking industry. Its collector market is limited to rare formations or giant geodes, but at scale, it functions as a core material for entry-level gemstone commerce. Across multiple continents, it remains one of the most shipped, purchased, and cut gemstones in the modern world. While it does not compete with diamonds in terms of prestige or price per carat, amethyst outsells diamonds in units sold across retail, metaphysical, and decorative sectors, often by several orders of magnitude. Its position in this ranking reflects market behavior based not on scarcity, but on accessibility and global integration into mass commerce. Ranked third, jade. Jade is a commercial term referring to two distinct mineral species, jadeite, a pyroxene rich in sodium and aluminum, and nephrite, a variety of actinolite tremolite from the amphibole group. While chemically and structurally unrelated, both minerals have been historically revered and traded under the shared cultural identity of jade. The distinction holds particular importance in valuation, with fine jadeite commanding significantly higher market prices, especially in East Asia. Jadeite occurs in metamorphic deposits under high-pressure, low-temperature conditions and is geographically limited. The only known source of gem-quality imperial jadeite, translucent green with chromium-based color saturation, is northern Myanmar, Burma, primarily from the H-Bakant region. Nephrite, by contrast, is more widely distributed, with sources in China, New Zealand, Canada, and Siberia. Jade's market dominance is cultural, intergenerational, and deeply embedded within East and Southeast Asian societies. In China, jade is not merely a decorative material. It is considered a symbol of status, virtue, and ancestral continuity. It plays an active role in preserving family wealth, participating in ritual observances, and facilitating the gifting economy. The commercial scale of jade reflects this unique positioning. Myanmar has exported jadeite worth over $1 billion annually in some years, with unofficial trade figures, particularly cross-border sales into China, pushing estimated volumes much higher. Nephrite, though lower in unit value, is sold in substantial quantities in traditional markets, tourist industries, and spiritual product lines. In urban centers such as Hong Kong, Guangzhou, and Taipei, jade trading is supported by a multi-tiered supply chain ranging from auction-grade imperial jade to mass-produced carvings and bangles. In these markets, the annual volume of jade jewelry and artifacts sold significantly exceeds that of diamonds, both in units and, in some cases, total consumer spending. Jade's pricing structure is decentralized and often opaque to foreign buyers, with valuation influenced by translucency, color uniformity, polish, and provenance. No single standard certificate governs jade globally, but in-market expertise, particularly in China, is highly developed and supported by local gemological institutions in a long-standing secondary market. While jade is rarely discussed in Western gemstone rankings, its economic footprint in Asia far exceeds what traditional gemological frameworks would suggest. It does not rival diamonds in terms of international brand visibility or presence at high jewelry auctions. Still, in terms of cultural integration and sustained high-volume domestic consumption, jade stands as one of the few gemstones that demonstrably outsells diamonds within entire national economies. Ranked second, cubic zirconia. Cubic zirconia, abbreviated CZ, is a synthetic crystalline form of zirconium dioxide stabilized with yttrium or calcium to retain its cubic structure. Initially studied in the 1930s, it was not commercialized for jewelry purposes until the 1970s, when Soviet laboratories developed reliable techniques for large-scale crystal growth. Since then, cubic zirconia has become the most widely produced and sold diamond simulant in the global jewelry manufacturing industry. Chemically unrelated to natural diamonds or zircon, cubic zirconia lacks the rarity, geological origin, and long-term durability associated with these gemstones. Its hardness ranges from 8.0 to 8.5 on the Mohs scale, placing it well below the diamond in terms of scratch resistance. However, its optical properties, including a dispersion value of 0.058 to 0.066, provide high fire and brilliance under artificial lighting. This visual appeal, combined with extreme affordability, has allowed CZ to become ubiquitous in fashion, bridal, and promotional jewelry. The global production volume of cubic zirconia is not publicly centralized. However, industry estimates place annual output in the hundreds of millions of carats, with the majority manufactured in China, Thailand, and India. Unlike diamonds, which require centralized distribution channels, CZ is shipped as bulk, calibrated stones, integrated directly into low-cost jewelry production pipelines, and sold through retailers ranging from fast fashion brands to online marketplaces. The commercial model behind cubic zirconia is based on replication and scale. The wholesale cost per carat is often below $0.05, allowing retailers to offer large, visibly impressive stones at prices under $20 USD. This pricing enables CZ to dominate in volume-driven sectors, including bridal-style rings, giftable earrings, high-turnover accessories, and costume jewelry sold through e-commerce, department stores, and seasonal outlets. Most consumers do not acquire cubic zirconia as a gemstone investment or for heirloom value. It is purchased for appearance, convenience, and disposability. Yet in unit-based sales, CZ consistently outsells natural diamonds by multiple orders of magnitude. Few materials in the jewelry industry move through as many hands, cross as many borders, or enter as many product categories in a given year. Cubic zirconia does not receive gemological grading from institutes like the GIA or SSEF. Its value is defined purely by cut precision, color calibration, and application. Even within industry reports, it is rarely analyzed as a gemstone. Nonetheless, its influence on global jewelry commerce is unparalleled, driving design trends, production techniques, and consumer expectations in the budget segment. In no segment does CZ match diamonds in prestige, investment potential, or symbolic function. However, when volume, accessibility, and market reach are the metrics, cubic zirconia surpasses every natural gemstone on Earth, including diamonds. Its role is not to compete with rarity, but to serve scale, and by that metric, it leads the modern jewelry economy. In the first place, pearl is the only widely traded gem not formed in the Earth's crust, but inside a living organism. Produced within the soft tissue of certain mollusks, pearls consist of concentric layers of calcium carbonate, primarily aragonite or calcite, bound by an organic biopolymer called conchiolin. This structure gives rise to luster, a visual phenomenon caused not by refraction through facets, but by surface interference across multiple microlayers. For centuries, natural pearls were among the rarest and most expensive items in global trade, collected by hand from the Persian Gulf, Red Sea, and Indian Ocean. That rarity collapsed in the early 20th century with the advent of cultured pearl farming, a technique refined in Japan and later scaled by China, which now dominates global production. Unlike gemstones that rely on geological scarcity, pearls respond to aquaculture techniques, temperature control, and mollusk health, shifting the value model from natural rarity to biological precision. Today, freshwater cultured pearls, primarily from the Yangtze River Basin, account for over 90% of global pearl supply. These pearls are produced in massive quantities, often from mussels seeded with dozens of nuclei simultaneously. In parallel, saltwater varieties such as Akoya, South Sea, and Tahitian pearls maintain a separate presence in the luxury tier, each with unique coloration, nacre thickness, and market price. Measured by units sold, pearl jewelry consistently outperforms diamonds across key retail sectors, particularly in Asia, the Middle East, and among Western bridal accessories. The market for pearls encompasses ceremonial necklaces, everyday fashion items, religious adornments, and traditional heritage gifts. Unlike diamonds, typically purchased once for engagement or high-end occasions, pearls circulate more frequently across life stages, generations, and social functions. In 2024, the global pearl market was valued at $13.1 billion, with projections exceeding $30 billion by 2033. This momentum is driven not by scarcity or speculative investment, but by sustained consumption volume, high renewal cycles, and multi-market penetration, from mass retail to prestige auction pieces. Pearl does not follow the same grading or certification conventions as diamonds. Its appraisal includes factors such as luster, surface cleanliness, roundness, nacre thickness, and matching uniformity. Criteria assessed both scientifically and by trade expertise. Value is also culturally specific. In East and Southeast Asia, pearls are viewed as symbols of filial respect and maturity, further reinforcing demand outside conventional jewelry narratives. Across all metrics related to accessibility, wearability, and unit volume, pearls stand among the most commercially successful gems in the world. Its dominance does not lie in price per carat or auction presence, but in sheer scale, a category where diamonds, for all their branding, no longer lead. Diamonds may define the language of luxury, but they no longer define the market. Across regions, cultures, and consumer tiers, other stones have carved their place, not through myth or marketing, but through constant demand, deep tradition, and commercial reach. Some are worn for protection, some for heritage, others for their price, their symbolism, or simply because they are available, where diamonds are not. And that's the truth beneath the glitter. Value is not always measured by brilliance, but by movement, by how often something is chosen, gifted, worn, or passed on. If this list surprised you, you're not alone. The next chapter goes deeper, into a world where rarity isn't natural but controlled. A world beneath the surface, lab-grown stones, artificial scarcity, and the economics behind what we call precious. Subscribe to follow the trade secrets behind the gem industry and uncover the stones reshaping global value, 1 carat at a time.